Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Crissy and this is my cozy corner. This is my cozy kitchen actually. So welcome to my kitchen for today's video. Since this video is a cozy fall TBR, I figured why not bring you somewhere that gives off the cozy fall vibes so that we can kind of get excited for the season. All right, let's go ahead and jump right into it because we're here today to talk about books. So let's get started. My first book is gonna be Awkward in October. I know that the main character ends up just quitting her job and moving to Connecticut where fall is like in full bloom, and she ends up purchasing a fixer-upper near her grumpy neighbor, and I guess things get a little interesting between them. Excited about this one. All right, so the next book that I'm looking forward to reading is Gothikana. I believe this is a dark romance slash dark academia. The main character gets an acceptance letter to this university, and that's where she ends up meeting the love interest. And I believe people like die, and there's a lot of weird things going on that she's trying to uncover. So it sounds like creepy, and I mean the cover with the university, it almost looks like creepy Yale or something. Speaking of dark academia, the next book is going to be The Secret History. I am most excited about this one because my favorite book last year was If We Were Villains. I know this one has been out for a while. People say if you loved one, you'll love the other. I know that this one's very similar in the sense that there is a murder and it's a group of friends in college, but they study ancient Greek, whereas in If We Were Villains, it's Shakespeare. So yes, you will be hearing me probably rave about this one pretty soon. All right, sticking in the general dark academia, but this one's actually fantasy and dark academia, so A Deadly Education. When I say I'm very excited about this one because it sounds like dark academia meets like Harry Potter, because I believe the main character and the people at her school, she's like a sorceress and they're all like magically gifted. Those are the ones that get to attend this school. If they like make a mistake or something, it could mean like sudden death is kind of what I'm hearing about it. Now I know that there's like a small subplot of romance in this, so if like you need romance with your fantasy, then this one I hear has a small but very good subplot, but I guess we'll see when I pick it up. The next book on my fall TBR is One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. I read the Atlas 6 by her and I did like the Atlas 6. I haven't read the last book in the Atlas 6, but I hear that this one is like Romeo and Juliet with witches. The rival families are trying to maintain control of their like criminal ventures. There's the mother and her daughters and then a father and his sons, and I believe those are the rival families. I think it sounds very interesting. I've heard a lot of good things about this one. So yeah, this one I definitely have a really good feeling about. Okay, so sticking with the fantasy category, although I read fantasy all year, I feel like something about fall screams fantasy. So the next one I've been wanting to read for a long time is Dance of Thieves. So I believe this one is about a young girl who used to be a thief, I think, but she's part of the Queen's Guard, and she's like on a mission to go find this guy to make him answer for his war crimes or stand trial, I think is the general premise of it. Yes, I'm gonna have to find that out when I read it. Since fall and October scream vampires, and we need more good source material on vampires, and I hear this is a good one, is The Serpent and the Wings of Night. So this one, I believe it's about a girl, and she's been adopted by a vampire, so she's a human girl, and she goes this rite. It's almost like Hunger Games-esque to try to secure her and her father's power, and I think she's supposed to make an alliance with some mysterious guy. I'm assuming is the romance part of it, but this sounds really good. This has got a lot of good reviews. This sounds like the exact type of romantasy I would be interested in reading, but I can't read this one without reading the next one, The Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent, the same author of the last book, The Serpent and the Wings of Night. So I know that this screams like Assassin, like Throne of Glass vibes to me. So and I love this cover. I think it's beautiful. I love these kind of fantasy covers. Susanna is a slave and she's trying to buy her freedom, and while this is happening, she ends up killing one of the most powerful men. So she's pretty much forced to flee, and then she comes into contact with this group of people called the Orders, and that's where she kind of learns to wield her magic. And these are apparently like the only people who can actually defeat this powerful man. With the Order, she has to earn her place and ends up in like an apprenticeship with this guy, Max Antarius, I guess is how you say it. I hope she calls him Max because it's kind of a mouthful, but he has like no interest at all in helping her. And I heard this was a friends to lovers, so I'm assuming they become friends and then a little bit something more after that. So I have been wanting to read this one even longer than the last one. I'm thinking I'm gonna go with this series first and then jump into Serpent and the Wings of Night, but we'll see because both of them are on my fall TBR, both first books in the series, not the rest of the series. So this one sounds amazing. So the next one is the Night Circus, and what I know about this one is, aside from the fact that I'm probably most excited to read this one, well, The Secret History is probably tied with that, but it's about two ancient magicians who end up challenging each other, and then through that they end up falling in love. So it sounds so good. Empire of the Vampire, this one's a pretty popular one. A lot of people have read this or know about it at least. I know it's like basically vampires rule over the lands, and it's been 20 plus years. I think it's 27 years since like there was a sunrise. So yeah, this one is well liked by a lot of people I follow. So yeah, very excited. Again, vampire screams fall, so perfect. The next one I actually don't have on hand, but it's blown up all over TikTok. It's When the Moon Hatched. So in this one, the main character is an assassin for a rebellion, and she ends up losing everything. So she ends up meeting a dragon rider, and then together they uncover truths that kind of skew what they actually thought they knew about their world. Okay, so the next one I want to read is Spells for Forgetting. This one was really popular about 2 years ago, I think, during the fall. I believe it's about like a land that's got a lot of like mythical, and there was like a murder at some point, and then the guy who returns back to their community who they had suspected him of the murder. I think he's actually like ends up being the love interest. There's this one, and then the next one by the same author that I want to read is The Unmaking of June Farrow. It was really popular during the fall last year. And the main character finds like weird cryptic clues upon her grandmother's passing about her mother's disappearance. And I think there's like a family curse or something involved. Both of these books by this author, this one and Spells for Forgetting, people have said go in blind on this. So that's about all the information I really want to find out about it. All right, y'all, I feel like it's not fall unless you have a little bit of thriller in your life. So the first thriller that I have on this list for my fall TBR is Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. What I do know about this one is that a woman leaves her life in Brooklyn to go to a small coastal town where her dad was from, and there she ends up uncovering a cold case that the whole town tried to bury, including her father. So the next book is gonna be by the same author as Home Before Dark, which is the last book I just showed you. So this one is also by Riley Sager, the only one left. This one is about a woman who ends up taking care of an elderly woman who is actually accused of murdering her family, I think her parents and her younger sister. Like, ugh, that sounds really creepy. I actually heard this one was really creepy, so I'm really excited to get into this one. The next thriller, and I've actually had this book for a while, is gonna be called Broken Girls by Simone St. James. This one weaves the story of 4 girls in the 1950s at boarding school, and then a journalist in 2014 who ends up like uncovering dark things about this abandoned school. It's linked to a murder that actually happened in her life. This is an author that I hear some really great things about, so I'm really excited to try her out. Next thriller is going to be the Sun Down Motel by Simone St. James, the same author as the book I just showed you before, Broken Girls. I hear a lot of her books are super creepy and perfect for the fall. So this one is another one that tells like a parallel story, one of Viv in the 1980s and another of Carly, her niece, in 2017. And they both are uncovering things about this specific motel. And one of the big things that happened was a young boy had hit his head and died of the injuries, so the pool is closed down. But yeah, so I'm excited to try this author out. Like I had said about Broken Girls, I think that this one is a lot of people's favorite in comparison. All right, so the next genre that I'm gonna talk about, I only have one for this genre, is horror. So this is gonna be a Dowry of Blood. This one is about Dracula's bride. So after he sires her and all the things that they kind of go through together, the book is kind of like her last letter to him. So that's basically her saying all the things that happened and all the things that they went through and her feelings about it. All right, guys, that's all I have for you. I feel like my fall TBR is pretty ambitious, but whatever I don't get to, I will eventually get to. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed my video. Until next time, bye. Mwah!